Hey everyone, how you doing today? I thought I'd get another video out of more progress done to this ship. Um, right now, I'm liking a lot of things about it um, over the original, and one fairly other big modification I made when I was actually redoing these front rooms, and I'll show you that in a minute, is the existing ship had two of these medium-sized CV thrusters in it, the 2x2x4 ones. Um, I had those still installed on this ship for additional lift thrust, and I decided to freak out and replace those with these big ones up front. And I wasn't so sure if I could make that work or not because they're giant, and fitting in that area it was going to be pretty rough, but I kind of found a solution. I sort of built this up a little bit more. I actually added a sentry gun here too, and got these things installed. I might modify that little front blocky thing there yet. We'll see. Um, Obviously, the ramp, I got sensors reset up on this front area again. So ramp comes down to the ground, lets you in. Um, So where the big modifications took place are on the inside, and just for reference, I'll show you the areas that I touched on the original. Essentially, when you're in the farm, uh, there's basically walls here. I'm just showing you this because I kind of know what changed already. And this had like a little bit of an overlook to the engineering room. There's a door off to the side here, which was a little space and just had a little bit of fuel in there. Same idea on this side, a little bit more fuel and some O2 and things like that. So not much was going on with those side rooms. The lounge itself, um, yeah, like I said, I didn't really want to make any major changes to the lounge. Just cosmetically fix it up. Now I've noticed too, through patches and things, like I did not have these textures like set this way. And the same thing goes for the side of the ship. Like I noticed this down here. All these are like these used to go the other way, and they formed a different line. And through patches and things, that changed and kind of made it look worse. Um, so getting into the new ship, which I believe I'm going to call this the Perses CB2. I was debating on names, um, and also I've been reading the comments on the last video, and I brought up the question about should I follow CPU or not, and it seriously seems unanimous that I should not follow the CPU. Now I'm gearing this chassis up now, especially with the new front thrusters, to be easily made CPU compliant due to the fact that it has has so much less thrusters, and the whole power system now is set up for like a 7500 CPU ship. Um, no real waste, using the biggest generators and biggest thrusters I can, and the least amount as I can. And with that addition or changing these thrusters out, that is putting the lift at 85 now, which is good for weights and volumes, and that is why I did it in the first place. It wasn't so much about the CPU. So I'm not going to follow the CPU. I think that no one wants to see that done, because that would severely limit probably storage. The storage would be minuscule for a ship this size if I did follow 7500 CPU, and I would be lacking fuel tanks and things like that too. So getting in here, I'm lost. Okay, from the front of the farm, walking up into the lounge now. The lounge has been kind of partially rebuilt. This area here changed. I did a new ceiling using some new blocks and some little strips and things like that. The walls actually came out, and that had to do with heat. When installing those new generators, or I'm sorry, thrusters, that increased the heat volume here. And then as I was walking through the original, I noticed that there was a heat problem anyway with the old thrusters that were in there. I think they made the range of heat and radiation increase over time from when this was originally built. So here, let me adjust the lighting. I do a lot of stuff with lights, and I try to make it look good at night. I never want to walk around my ship with a flashlight so I can see where I'm going. I want everything illuminated. And not to mention, I think it helps with the overall looks of it too. So we've got some new spotlights and things like that going on in here, but yeah, this is virtually unchanged. Same idea with this. It's a little bit different on the walls, but pretty much the same. Now where the changes really start to take place is I no longer have a door going off this side due to the fact that we have two T2 generators installed there now. Let's go down to the engineering room. So this is all new. Get a little lights on again. I'm thinking I might dial in the lights a little bit more. I notice it's a little bit dark out in this section, so I might add one more light here. But it changed a little bit. Core's in the same spot, same general setup here. Warp core is still where it is. Added in some pipes here to keep you away from dying. And a little access hallway out here, which just is more cosmetic than anything else. So you can kind of see the front of the two T2 generators. We have a shield generator now installed in this housing over here, and the new location for the front gravity generator. So that pretty much sums it up for this room. Now going back out and into the farm, there is a new door over here off this farm, and there's no reason to go in this room, but this is kind of an extension of if you notice that little side room I used to have over here, this is what it became. And it's actually, it's weird because it's more roomy than it used to be, despite putting in those big generators. And part of this is the side of the ship was altered a little bit, which actually gave it just a little bit more room. And then I had some filler blocks in here, and I kind of carved those out and made areas from it. So here, I mean, this is kind of like a bunch of fluff, but you can kind of look down in these two pods here with this little walkway in the middle and take a look at your generators. And besides that, I'm just storing some O2 over here, and there's another fuel tank up front and like a little maintenance area. And then of course from the lounge you can see all that, and I with the new windowed, well, I won't say new window, new knowledge of being able to tint windows differently, I made it so you can see through there a little bit better. Also with the sensor, one sensor actually is covering this room and the other side room I haven't showed you yet. So it lights this area up, so when you're in the lounge you can actually kind of like look in here and see it. And I made sure that this is all safe here so you don't get fried from the thrusters. And that is why these walls were built out that way, with like a little wood shelf there. In this room, I got to get an LCD in place yet. This changed a lot too. It's got some fuel tanks. I did this overlook over the shield generator, and then there's another maintenance area going down this way, kind of similar to the other side there, where you just got some space and like a little console. It's more like role play stuff of anything else, but essentially it's spare space. As in doing this, I noticed a problem with their model on the new fuel tanks. I think it looks great. I mean, I'm looking at this, and yeah, that looks really nice. But they're crooked. They don't line up to each other. It's like they're tilted ever so slightly, like a little error somewhere in the game there. So, same thing happened with all the fuel tanks. The lines don't line up. I think they need to fix that one, and that will make that look better. So that is pretty much the changes, and yeah, I really appreciate all the comments. There was another comment about adding deconstructors, and yeah, it was my intent originally too, until someone gave me heads up, and I confirmed that's true, that yeah, you cannot put deconstructors in on a CB. That's a base only thing. So sorry, I can't do it. Wish I could, because I would basically probably just add 2 constructors here or 2 deconstructors on this side when I get to it, but I just cannot do that. Also, I replaced another block too. I had this new round block on the bottom, and I popped in one of these wall pieces. And I want to get more of this in the ship, and I'm holding off a little bit now until I see where the size class ends up at when I get everything done. Because using, unfortunately, these new blocks and things like that, most of them are higher polygon than the older blocks, and therefore it ramps your size class up faster. So next areas I'm looking at doing is the farm. I kind of did a little bit with the front wall so far, but I may or may not alter that. And try to dress this up and light it a little bit differently and fix up a lot of these things. Now I did respawn the ship too, and it had a bunch of texture, misalignments again, and I cleaned those up already again. So other than that, that's pretty much the state of the ship. And if you got any suggestions or comments as I'm going here, I definitely, it's really cool seeing them all. And I'm really glad I asked the question about the CPU, because I mean, my original intent on redoing this was I was going to make this CPU compliant, and it's kind of like a big relief that no one wants it that way, and including myself. And we don't exactly know where the CPU is going and what the restrictions are going to be and things like that on it yet. So that is cool. It gives me room to put in stuff. But I guess, if it came down to it where, yeah, everything's got to be 7500 CPU, this is going to be pretty easy to roll back due to the powertrain set up for it. It's just basically, I'd have to remove probably some fuel tanks and probably some storage. And other than that, it would be a 7500 CPU ship. In fact, I even stopped looking at what it actually is at. So I'm at 8290, so I'm a little bit over. And I think if I eliminated like these extra storage boxes here and stuff like that, I could already bring it back to 7500 CPU. So if it becomes an issue, like this can't work anymore, it will be not a thing to bring it to the level that it can, and that's kind of a nice little insurance policy, I guess. So regardless, it will work, and I'm not going to have to do this kind of overhaul again on it. Now, who knows what the future brings? We're at Alpha 10, not quite out yet, and it changed an awful lot since Alpha 5, since I first discovered this game, and who knows where the changes are going to go. So, but this is one I'm always going to try to keep up to date. As in the other ships, the Gigacore was mentioned on redoing that one. I don't know about the Gigacore. The Gigacore, that'd be very, very challenging, and anything's possible. Where there's a will, there's a way. So I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying it would be extremely difficult to get that ship up to this, because it was kind of an inefficient design, and to make the design work, I would have to radically alter it, which would make it look quite a bit like a different ship. So that's rough there. I think what I'm going to try to do, I like to build new stuff too. I mean, granted, I'm enjoying this project and I'm really liking the results, but I'm going to try to build one new thing and then refurbish something from the past and then build something new and kind of do a cycle like that. So I'm not just, constantly refurbishing other things, because I think I've got over 50 workshop releases now, and not that all of them need to be updated, but a good chunk of them do, and a lot of the bigger things do. So, but this was my first pick on redoing that. The Cerberus NG, that was also brought up too on bringing it to Alpha 10. I probably will. With this ship, let me get some power in it. With this ship, it's set up pretty good already. It obviously would not follow CPU. The biggest thing I would have to address is getting in a shield generator and redoing the storage. And this thing had an awful lot of storage in it in this area here. And it's not a big deal. I don't think it would be difficult to actually redo this. In fact, I'm kind of looking under this facade here. Oh, never mind. That's just these weird height new constructors that make it look like there's extra space here, but there's actually not. But yeah, no, I could finagle around, and I could add in a couple storage systems and a new like ammo system for Alpha 10 and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure with all the space in this ship, I could find a home somewhere for a shield generator. In fact, there's probably, yeah, this thing had a big engine room, I guess you could say. So there's definitely a lot of room there for it. So yeah, this one will be on the list to get a good refurbishing done to it. It doesn't need near as much as with the Perses. This was built much later than the Perses, and a lot of the stuff was already done up at a little different level and different parts and stuff like that. So, all right, well that's it for this video today. And I will do more progress work when I get enough done to show it again. Now I actually have been recording all the changes that I'm doing to this ship. It's just that now there's like 6 like hour individual hour videos, so I'd have to get those like all put into one and probably do it like a high-speed thing with no audio, or you know, maybe if I download some club music off the internet, I could have some kind of noise in the background. But not sure if I should or not. If you're really interested in seeing all the work that was done in these front rooms and redoing these thrusters, I could show you that. Believe it or not, oh, I still have to fix up parts here too. I had to rip like a good chunk of this flight deck apart, redoing the ceilings for those rooms below it. And it looks like I missed a couple textures, like all this stuff here. This is hull blocks. These are all combat steel. Probably a little bit thinner, but I was also taking a look at hit points. And, you know, it's 2,000 for a solid block, so it dropped it down to like 1,750 by using this block. Not that bad. Not that bad. You know, some of these are a little weaker, but again, this is your only critical area really in the entire front of the ship is probably, of course, your core and maybe your warp core. And I think I got this stronger than ever too in redoing so many things on the front. If you're looking, there's a lot of blocks here in front of where any of your business is. And I think it could withstand quite an abuse getting hammered on the front of the ship before it would start affecting anything. And that's the point. Okay, well, y'all have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks a lot.